Okay, so this is a tutorial on how to make a good template file for an NSF and how to make a MIDI with the proper BPM. So first thing we're going to do is pick an NSF. Right now I'm going to use the first track of Skate or Die. So first things first, click and drag that onto 2-wave just to separate it into different channels. Pick the track number and time to record. And that's done. So we're going to put it in Reaper. I made a couple of VST instruments beforehand just to make this quicker. So that's what you'll see at the top of the screen there. So first we want to get rid of the tiny bit of silence that's at the beginning of every NSF track. We'll blow these up a little bit so you can see the waveforms a little better. And slide that over. And you'll see that right now the click doesn't really line up with things. So what we're going to do is isolate the drum track for this, because that'll probably be the easiest to go off of. That won't be the case with every song, but this one it's pretty simple. So if you look, this snare hit here should probably be on the 2 beat here. So what we're going to do is first we're going to change the time setting for everything. Gonna highlight all your NSF tracks, go to item properties and change it from track project default time base to time. This will make it so it doesn't stretch it out or shrink or speed the track up when you adjust the BPM of the Reaper file. So apply. We're going to click up here where the BPM is, or you can even just mouse over, and if we use the mouse wheel up and down, it'll change the BPM by 1 each time. If you hold shift, it'll do it by 1/10, control by 100th, and control shift by 1,000th. So what we want to do is try and line up that snare hit right here with the second beat that we have highlighted. So we're just going to mouse wheel it over, and then that wave right there looks a little off, so we're going to adjust the mouse wheel. We can zoom in a bit and use control and get it a little tighter. Go out to the next measure. That one looks pretty good. So we'll jump ahead a whole measure. We're just going to keep dialing this in closer and closer. So we want that right on the beat. We'll go out a little further. That one's close, but you can get it better. And just start working in bigger spans as you go to make the finer adjustments. Alright, and this should be pretty good now. So now that we've got our tempo for the song, what you want to do is find where the song loops. So that would be right here. And I already put a marker on it, so you just want to hit M and you can put your marker there. That'll come in handy in a little bit. So the next thing we want to do is make a MIDI of the song. I got this thing NSF to MIDI version 1.4. File, open, pick Skate or Die. And obviously it sounds like crap, but we'll try and do something about that. So we're just going to convert it to MIDI. Set the time a little higher and hit OK. And here's our MIDI here. I'm going to drop that into Reaper, hit OK. There's going to be a bunch of tracks that don't do anything, so I'll just delete those. also going to go in and delete the program change off of each track, just because that'll keep resetting your VSTs that you put on it to a different patch every time. So the first thing we want to do here is I'll drop it into my VST instruments so we can actually hear them. Delete the old tracks, and you'll notice if we solo these, what did that do here? That it's playing way too fast. So first we want to chop off the unneeded part at the beginning. And if you have the grid engaged on Reaper, you can hold shift when you're clicking and dragging that to get it right at the beginning. So we're just going to put it right at the start of the first note of the song. Go back out to this window, hit S, and it'll split all these instruments or the tracks, and we can slide that right back to the beginning. So now we want to find where the second loop begins, and you can kind of look at the MIDI to get an idea. And there we're back at the beginning. So go into the track view, zoom in on it, and go right to the first note of that. We're going to zoom way in for that. And then we're going to hit right click and drag, highlight these three tracks, split them, and delete it. And then we're going to select all of our MIDI tracks, hold Alt, and then click and drag it out to stretch this out even with that first loop. And now we can check it and see if it lines up with the NSF. And it sounds pretty good. So if you want to, you can click into the instrument or into the individual tracks, hit Control A, hit Q, and then you'll be able to quantize it. This song isn't really necessary. It really depends on game to game and track to track. Some of them are going to be really loose on the grid. Some of them are going to be tighter to the grid, and you're going to have to do some cleaning up. There's going to be weird re-triggering things and sustain things throughout the whole thing, just because of none of this music was made in a piano roll. So that's pretty much it. That should be all set. I'm going to unmute my drum track that I made in advance, and here you go.